listen to me when I tell you this. There is nothing more time-consuming in my life currently than the amount of minutes, nay, hours, that I spend trying to tuck these little pieces of hair. I don't even know what you call them. Some sort of wispy ocean bangs or something. But I hate it. I despise it. I tuck them, I comb them, I gel them, but they keep on flopping ever so gingerly across my forehead. And could I remedy it with a haircut? Of course. But I'm too cheap to do it. So now I'm in a position where I got to pick a poison, right? Stuck between a rock and a poison. It's not nice to be here. And it's not only just a sensation that I hate. I've talked about it forever. I don't like the feeling of it. But it's also the way that it looks. And all I can see when I see it is poodle. And I don't know why, okay? You guys out there can try and figure out the distinction. What's the connection? Cross-examine the two photos of me and a poodle and figure out what it is. But I just see poodle. And I don't want to see a poodle. I don't want to think poodle. I don't want to feel like a poodle. And when I do, honestly, it makes me feel even more like a poodle because I don't think poodles want to feel like that either. Poodles have like the worst haircuts in the game, you know? So much so that I don't even know what happened to them. That's probably why we got rid of poodles. It's all golden doodle these days. Poodle, golden retriever, golden doodle. But yet we still have golden retrievers. What happened to the poodle? When was the last time you saw a poodle out in the wild? It's probably because their haircuts are so bad. We improved upon them. We phased them out. And maybe deep down, subconsciously and psychologically, I'm afraid that one day someone's going to improve upon me and phase me out completely. This got too deep. All right. We'll get there. And if we don't, then we won't. Whoa. Philosophy breaks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tristan Sartoris. My name is Full Circus, and I am here to be happy. So what's going on with you guys, man? I'm having a great time. Okay, I won't even lie about it. I could, but I won't. I think lying about having a good time is arguably got to be one of the worst things you can do as a human being at its core, you know? Like if you're having a great time, I think it is your responsibility to be as transparent and authentic with it as possible. Like you see somebody having a good time and you go, hey, freaking Roger, what's the deal? You in a good mood or something? And he goes, freaking no, I didn't even like it here, you know? That's messed up, Roger. Own that crap. Because what do we know about humans? Psychologically, when we see someone else having a good time, we what? Have a good time ourselves. So not only are you keeping that satisfaction, that good timeness to yourself, Roger, but you are keeping me from having a good time, okay? I want my cup to be filled, and you're overflowing, but you're lying about it. You're like, no, my cup's not even full at all. It's so low. I got nothing to share. You know? Give me some of that. Fill my cup, man. So I'm here to be honest with you, truthful, and say, guys, I'm having a great time. And unless you're one of those select individuals, Lucifer most notably, where he gets angry and probably jealous over other people and have a good time. Friggin', I don't even like what he's doing. He friggin' fun, whatever. You know, I think we should all be happy that we're having a good time here. That's just the way that average hearts work. Okay, if you're average heart at best, at least, at baseline, then you'll be okay. You'll see someone have a good time and you go, this makes me feel, what a good time! You know, it just comes out of nowhere on you. So anyways, I am having a great time. I'm in a good mood, and I will not lie about it. I'm trying to be a bit more, I've said this way too many times, dude. I just want to be a little bit less professional, but I want to meet that nice, perfect crossroads where it's like, okay, this is good, it's professional, it's decent, but also like I'm not worried about it. Like I don't need to be even better. And you get so focused on, man, is this making logical sense? Are the neurons firing? Is this a sentence that actually could be freaking understood in the humans and adults and growing? You know, I don't want to worry about that, man. I just want to stay flow. I'm a flowy guy. Check this out. That's pretty stiff, but that's, you know, mentally, I'm flowing, okay? So I need to stay there, man. And that's why I got to be truthful when I'm having a good time, is because, you know, hopefully a little bit of that flowiness can rub off on you, and I don't need to be so in my head, dude. There's nothing worse than being in your head. because there's nothing there for me. There's not a lot up there. I need to be here, present, in the moment, out of my head, in the zone, okay? Your head's never in the zone. Even if you try and get your head in the game, it's not in the zone. It's in the game. Stay out of the game and get in the zone. Be in the moment. There's too many things to be in, but at the same time, I'm out of the box and I'm off the wall. So how do I be in the zone, in the game, and all of it at the same time without being in my head? Too much to comprehend. If that isn't the craziest sentence of someone actually being in their head and thinking about it in the first place, I don't even know what is. But anyways, guys, it's a good time to be back here with you. It's nice to get back to some normalcy. And by that, I mean like podcast set wise. If you saw the last episode, we had freaking a 9-foot surfboard just standing vertically in the studio. And I don't know if you know anything about space, but it's not conducive to that. Okay. Like I broke the ceiling. I broke a couple, it's the drop ceiling, the tiles, and I shoved it up. I might have dented the air vent. And that's just the way of the ocean, I guess. If you don't respect it, it will make you respect it. What does that mean? Probably nothing, because I'm covering up the fact that I broke the ceiling. But yeah, it's nice to get that out of here and get back to our little fall decorations, because it's officially autumn, as you can see on our $1 2024 calendar. And I'm just excited, man. I've been thinking about a lot about fall decorations because of the Halloween episode that we're going to do, and we always decorate out the wazoo. Okay, if you saw the last episode or the one before it, like it's a spooky wonder world. It's a wonderland. And I wonder how I'm going to top it, because there's just so much effort, time, and money that I would have spent if I didn't return all of it. Dude, like, here's the thing. I've been saying that we need adult decorations for the longest time, because as a grown-up, you don't really fear ghouls and goblins and Frankensteins, but we fear what? Taxes and not getting a refund on a thing we never fully intended on purchasing in the first place. That was the scariest part of Halloween for me, was when I spent $90 on decorations and I brought them back to Walmart, and I'm thinking, oh God, they're going to ask me about it. It's November 1st. Why wouldn't they? Like, that's you think about that. Every time you bring it back, you're like, oh, they're going to grill me, or they're going to be like, hey, we're checking social media. Swear, we're going to go back and freaking beat them with a stick. Bring out the agents. Okay, what's going on with you? Okay, give us the whole story. And it never really happens. It goes over smoothly, but you just feel guilty and scared. And when I went to go return them, in fact, they did grill me. A couple people were there and like, hey, so what's the deal with this? Did they not work? Why, you return them after Halloween? It looks a little bit suspicious. I went, oh, freaking, this isn't supposed to happen. You're supposed to just accept it. It's just Walmart. It's Walmart. But I do not endorse lying. Okay, like I just said, I don't think you should ever lie about having a good time. But there are select things in the realm of deceit that you just can't help it. And I didn't mean to lie. It just kind of came out of me that they were getting a little hostile with me. And I went, no, they work just fine. But my little brother was actually having a birthday bash, and my mom had bought all these decorations. I thought that they needed a little bit more. Apparently they didn't, and they just didn't need them, so I thought I'd just bring them right back. None of that was true, okay? But from what went from a hostile, angry demeanor turned into you're such a sweet older brother. That's so nice of you. And I don't want to be proud of the fact that I lied, okay? But the fact that I basically stole things from Walmart, went and got my money back, and then lied directly to someone's face, and then they complimented me, has got to be the best trick, the best demonstration of ever pulling the wool over the eyes of Walmart that's ever happened. And again, dude, I don't want to be proud of it, but the results speak for themselves, okay? You can't help but be like, all right, like, okay, sin, deceit, it's not great. But what happened here took some talent, he got away with it, man. It's nice to get away with some things. You know what? I try not to feel too proud of the moment. Hopefully I don't lose too much sleep. Like if Walmart goes under and like freaking corporation's tanking, if only we had $90 more. But all those Halloween decorations got returned and now we're screwed. I would probably feel pretty bad. And it's not to say I don't, like I effectively just borrowed things without their knowing. But Yeah, I don't know. Look, they say your brain continues to fully develop until the age 25. I'm 24, and I think I'm just getting my morals still aligned here these last few months. Like I'm still locking some things into place. So for the time being, I'm impressed with what happened, but I don't think anyone else should be. All right. Yeah, that's all I want to say here. So, guys, don't lie unless you freaking, get a good podcast set out of it. No, I don't know what the message is here. There's no good message. There's 0 good messages. I don't know how to fish for one. If you somehow heard a good message in there, take it, run with it. I don't know where it's at, but if you heard one, hold it near and dear to your heart and embrace that for the rest of your life, because I don't know. I don't have any good ones. So what's actually been going on with us, guys? I recently uploaded a new video, not podcast-wise, which was very interesting and difficult to make because you're learning a new editing process, new editing software, and I spent about 14 hours on a 20-minute video. Okay, now if that is not minutes returned for a lot of work, I don't know what is. Okay, it was super frustrating. I'm like, God, I'm running out of space, and then my wireless mouse kept dying. I pounded a whole box of pumpkin spice Cheerios just sitting right here, just like chugging them, went through the whole freaking thing, and I was upset about it because it took a lot longer than I wanted to, but that's the nature of the game. Sometimes that's just your just desserts for lying to Walmart. The world finds a way of getting back at you. Okay, it's gonna get that money back somehow in the form of time and frustration. Karma! But took a freaking whole year, world? You couldn't have dealt that at any other time? I'm trying to get something done here, right? Can we take a rain check on karma? But anyways, I got it up. I had a lot of fun making it, though. And I've gotten a lot of good responses so far. I do have to, again, appreciate Bobby, who came up with the idea, and he built the template, and that took a lot of time for him as well. So for all the people who have been submitting questions to the show, and you're always like, hey, can you rank these best pranks? Tell us about the stories. What's the deal? How do you think about wedgies, with willies, and so on? I ranked freaking 54 of them, okay? It's a complete, total conglomerate, it's a prank rank about everything and how I feel about them currently. It was nice to go through that. A lot of those things, like I haven't thought about in years, like the tap on your chest or your head till you name 10 cereals or candy bars. Hey, tell us stuff. Those were good times. So it's always great to reminisce. And like I said in the video, it's like you're blinded by nostalgia because you look back on a lot of those things. You're like, man, I feel like when I was 8 and your brothers pick on you, you're like, God, very good. Mom, they hate me. Mom. I think they actually hate my guts. But you look back on a lot of these things and you think, man, if that isn't brotherly love, I don't know what is. So I had so much fun, man. I was in a good mood while I did that as well. And if anyone else wants to submit more questions, who knows? Maybe I'll turn into a video. But as always, and this is the reason I'm really bringing this up right now, is because in the middle of that whole editing, I built this. Look at that, right? That took like freaking another 8 hours to figure out how to do. So if you think I'm not going to use 8 seconds showing it off, you got another thing coming. So submit your questions to the show at FullCircusPodcast@gmail.com. And I had a lot of fun, and we'll see what happens next. I want to do some more videos and just have fun, dude. Again, like there needs to be less seriousness in my life. I don't know where that's coming from, where I'm like, man, I think it's because I want to do right by people. Like I know how valuable other people's time is. And like I want you guys to feel like you're getting it back and it's going to be worthy of the seconds that you have. But at the same time, if I'm not going to be completely, like I said, in the box, off the wall, doing the thing, then what's the point in doing it? Okay, because otherwise I'm wasting my seconds. So hopefully you guys enjoy the more silly. Okay, because I got more silly to go. There's so much silly to go around. You keep checking the reserves, like, dude, do we still have silly in here? This is unbelievable. So that's always great. And yeah, I had a lot of fun talking about my brothers. My brothers, there's just so much. It's just family. There's so much to do with family, dude. Just recently, here's another funny story. I talk about quite frequently how I do well with heat, right? I don't know what it is about my body or the core temperature where I do a little bit better in the warm, but I freeze very easily. And my brother Joey is like ultra competitive. Okay. Him and me more than anyone else, I think, go back and forth. Like we always compete on the smallest little things, but him everything has to be topped by anybody. Like, recently my brother was like, my older brother Carlton, he's like, man, my boots, they're like just really destroyed here. You know, they're clapped is the word he used. And then he comes in and there's a feeling to one up. There's a feeling to be like, dude, you think that's bad? He goes, actually, my boots are way worse. And I don't know what the competitive drive is there, but if someone's like bragging about how bad they are, then he has to brag that he's even worse than them, or how good or how better, you know, that's just his thing. And it's a lovable shtick. It really is. But that has always happened. And it happened recently when I was talking about my body, my heat. Okay. So I was like, man, it's freaking cold in here. And he goes, I remember when I was a little girl. And so he wanted to attack me because he's like, yeah, I'm better at being warmer than you are. Okay. I'm better at being fine. Like there was just an angriness that happened with it. This isn't even the competitive part, but this just is where he's starting out. And not only was that just building, but I thought that was funny because no one even heard me say like, oh, it's cold in here. So we're just all together as a family and we're just watching TV. And the only thing people hear is, I remember when I was a little girl. And I didn't say anything to respond to it just because I wanted that to be the only sentence he said out loud. You know, like imagine you're just all sitting there watching Impractical Jokers. And then Joey, very masculine, tough guy. And he's just sitting there like, I remember when I was a little girl. What? Hey, by the way, where'd that come from? Huh? And nobody knows. It was directed at me. But anyways, the reason I bring that up is because it escalates further. We were in the car and I'm talking about it again. I'm like, dude, I just don't know what it is about. Like, I don't know why I get so cold easily. Like I do better in warm. He goes, I do way better in the warm than anyone could ever do in the warm. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, dude, you think you can do better in the warm than I can? I could do great in the warm. And I was like, yeah, I probably, yeah, I'm not saying anyone's bad at the warm. I'm just saying that I do better in the warm than I do in the cold. He's like, I mean, I'm kind of like the same way. Like I could do that, but even more than you. I was like, maybe, I don't know. Like, but sometimes I have the heat on and the windows up in the summertime. He's like, okay, fine. You know what? Right now, he rolls both windows up and he cranks the heat full blast. And we're on the way to the store, just me and him. And we have ourselves a little heat off. We have a blaze, man. So we go to the store and we're just driving for miles and miles and we get these things. Like I just get like my stupid little my goggles here. And so this goes on for so long. He's trying to get all these things and even on the way back home, like we as soon as we get back into the car, windows stay up, heat blasted because he's just competitive. He wants to win this race. He did not win it, however. So while he's eating his snacks and putting together some sort of contraption, I don't know what he was up to. I'm sitting there just trying to fit my goggles. I'm like, how do these work? I feel like they're too small. Like I'm completely fine. It's probably 90 degrees in the car. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty comfortable. I'm just like drumming, thinking about how these goggles are going to be fitting nice in the ocean. And he's like pouring sweat, trying to eat these. He's like, and eventually he rolls them down. He's turn this freaking crap off. So it's just brotherly love, dude. And you got to respect it. But yeah, that's Joey. If you want a crash course on my older brother, it's the most competitive person you will ever meet in your life. Name one thing you've ever done, and I guarantee you he will tell you that he's done it better. Yeah, dude, my freaking father passed away. Dude, freaking my father almost died like 18 times, so I know where you're coming from. What? What do you... Hey, have a little empathy. What do you mean? Why are you competing for who's had the most... My freaking grandma died actually 2 weeks ago, and then her cat died afterwards, after we thought that was the last thing we had of my grandma. You know, it's just, it's like, it's just... That's who he is, man. And again, it's one of those things, you're like, I just don't feel like he likes me. Why does he keep trying to outdo everything I do? But after you're like 17 or something, you're like, oh, this is just a fun shtick. That's just a good brotherly characteristic, and I wouldn't have it any other way, man. Family's fun, dude. There's just a lot of nonsense. Like the good times, again, like the things that make sense where you actually just sit around the campfire and go, oh yeah, you know, we're all friends. I don't remember those times, you know, but when we're all making fun of each other and doing stupid things, I remember those, okay? I don't remember much from the beach when it was good, but I remember that when he was trying to attack me over my heat. Like just recently, my dad and I, we parked in the handicap spot with my mom's handicap sticker, and and it's just out of routine. But my mom wasn't with us on this trip to the grocery store. We had just gotten out. We're like, oh crap, we just parked here. My mom's not even here. We're like, well, now we got to play this off. So we were walking into the Publix with like fake limps. I'm wearing all my surf gear as if I'm like, yeah, I'm hurting now, but in like an hour or two, I'm going to be shredding those waves, man. I thought that was the funniest thing ever. So you never know what you're going to get with family, and even the bad times end up being good times. Okay, so embrace your family as such, and who knows, maybe you too can steal a parking spot from somebody who really needs it. No, there was tons more. Don't even worry. But anyways, man, speaking of family, this isn't really funny, but we went to like a family fair. Not like a fair of families, but it was a fair. We went as a family, and it was a family affair, I guess. But anyways, just lots of like little shops and stuff, and I like running through all the places hoping that I could buy something, but I didn't. Not that it's not worth buying, but I'm still too cheap to get a haircut, so I'm probably not going to buy like a little wooden carving of a guitar. But it's still super cool to look at. But I saw they had like fire performers, man. And I bring that up because I was watching it, and it was so freaking scary to see because they were riding a bicycle, right? And they lit the bicycle on fire, and the guy would just hop over people on the ground. They didn't have any ramps, and like they made do with what they could, and it was a cool show. But the guy had messed up on the bike like 6 times prior, and like, well, we got to continue with the show. So they bring the lady down. She lays on the ground. He's like, well, now I'm going to jump this flaming bike over you multiple times. He gets as close as he can to her head. Dude, I would have been so scared if I was the lady. Like, imagine you watch somebody throw a bunch of knives and they miss all the targets. And he's like, all right, now somebody come against the tree. We're going to put an apple on your head. I'm going to slice it right down the middle. That was basically what happened. Could have easily killed her. But she was so brave. And some of the stuff they didn't look too impressive, but I know for a fact that even things that don't look hard usually are. Like, she just laid on the ground and just spun the hoop on a limb. You're like, whoa, that's not that impressive. But I probably would have thought the same way if it wasn't for the fact that I went bowling just recently. Like, bowling is one of those things where you see it and you think, how hard could it be to throw a ball just somewhat straight? You have like a 3 or 4 foot lane. Just don't fall off the edge. Okay, just go down the middle. But I went, and I swear to you, every freaking ball, I threw it. I jumped over lanes, hit other things. I even hit the little metal bumper that came down to shield the pins. I was like, smash that too. I don't know what it is about bowling, but it's difficult. And if the most difficult part about bowling, in fact, is the walk of shame, where you throw that into a gutter. You're like, this is so easy. Everybody watch this. And you turn it around, and everyone's just staring at you. You're like, all right, let's go home. And like, no. You actually have another shot before you get to sit down, okay? And you're like, oh, my gosh, please. It goes in the gutter again. And everybody's watching, not only the people with you, but everyone else who's watching because they have good bowling etiquette. They're like, no, you go first. You're like, all right. I hate all of this. I wish I was performing with fire. It's got to be way better than this. I don't care if I get burned. I just don't want this. And it was very difficult. So when I see things that look easy, I always give them the benefit of that doubt. Like, yeah, have you tried bowling? It's pretty difficult. We did go multiple times though recently, and I got a little bit better. Still not great. It's so frustrating because you think now's the time straight. Nope. I don't know what to put in the balls, but for some reason mine just won't knock over all the pins. There was an older gentleman that was in the lane right next to us. I think his name was Gary. And Gary was rolling heat, okay? I swear every time I looked over to his lane, knocking down all the pins. Oh, freaking a couple spare? No problem. He's like 80 years old. He walks up to the lane as slow as can be and goes, huh. And he's just knocking him over. Meanwhile, I'm trying to go as fast and as perfect as possible. It just goes to show, man. Trying to do it impressively in speed and look like an athlete isn't always the best case because this guy was serving us up on a silver platter, man. There was one round, however, where Gary seemed to have like a worse game and I was having my best game. So we were going like neck and neck. And the people I was there with, my brother and my pal, Drew, we were all kind of competing with each other, but I wasn't even looking at their score, man. Every single time I got up, Gary was up. And I'm like, okay, this is the time. I'm going to take you out. So I'm tracking. He's on 6th frame. I'm on 6th frame. We're both at like 78 points. My best game, okay? It might not be impressive to other people, but this is the highest I've ever rolled. And we get to the 10th frame. We're neck and neck, man. And Gary draws the old 7-10. Okay, he gets one of them. Still impressive. But I get a nice spare. I roll again, and I beat him with a 124. Like, yes, my greatest bowling accomplishment is I have beaten an 85-year-old in bowling. With this like retirement nurse, like someone was like guiding him to come and go with him, like, oh, way to go, Gary, you're doing a good job. And look, he was phenomenal. He rolled way higher than that in other games, so you know he served me up every other time. But I found my most peace and pride in the fact that I could go toe-to-toe with one of the best bowlers that the lanes have ever seen to this day, man. Like, I don't know how far we've been into this thing, but I think that's all I have to talk about. I said I think. I know. Look, when you only have so many notes, I know where they end. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this show. I don't know how long it's been, but even though I said I'm pretty good in the warm, wearing the fall outfits with the beaming lights, it gets pretty toasty. Okay, you start kind of sweating like a pig. And I don't know how often pigs sweat, but I think we should get them some more electrolytes because that can't be healthy. But, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I've had a great time with you. I'm always in a good mood to be here, and I will never lie to you about that. I might lie about decorations, but that's just because I'm cheap. That's the same reason I haven't gotten a haircut. But you know what? Do your best to enjoy the fun and the bad moments with your family. And if you go bowling, have some respect for people who dance with fire and the elderly, because both of them are impressive. Even if you think you're a superstar, you still can't do it. So, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next episode. Right?